Hey guys, so I need to give a bit of a health update or a journey update, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know if I can call it a health journey anymore because it's kind of like, I mean, I guess, but we're so beyond that at this point. Um, but I want to talk about this little moment that I've been having. It's kind of like, I don't, it's this weird thing, like in terms of my channel, where it's not tortured, but it's not MSP either. So it's like it's not these very deep, big questions of life, but it's also not pedestrian like MSP. But I think what it is it is still within Vanity 2.0. It's this feeling of emotional insatiability or emotional dissatisfaction that goes into a lighter deficit vanity weight era. And I think that what I'm currently dealing with is this understanding that within vanity downsizing, there is always going to be an insatiability, whether there's somewhat of like a physical aspect if you're deep in it, where you're going to be really tired. I still don't believe in hunger. Like, I don't think you should be. I think your macros are off or you have some hormonal issue. But I think when it's more shallow, it becomes emotional dissatisfaction. And it's kind of like you're still having to make a sacrifice. And I think a lot of times people don't want to do that. But within vanity, there is a sacrifice regardless. Like, you can't get rid of that. And so the best way I can talk about this is it feels very like Hillary Duff Roommates. That's how I feel. Life is lifing and pressure is pressuring me. And the thing about it is that that song is so mid. It's so mid. Her whole album is mid. But I feel like she really highlights this very millennial thing, where it's like a lot of millennials that support Hillary Duff right now, they can't just say that she's just mid. They have to like pump her up or act like she's the best thing that's ever happened, even though it's really not that good. Like, the album is actually, I don't know, like, her writing is bad. I'm just gonna say it. It's bad. It's kind of trash, actually. And then her vocals are not that good. Like, it's very mid. It's not a good album. Sorry. Like, I have to be real about it. It's just not. It's not a good album. But I relate to the feeling of that song, Roommates, because it's kind of like this feeling of like, I want the highs and lows of life, and I don't have either. But I'm also very supported, and I'm not really a victim, which it's like, whoa. And I feel like that aspect of like normality that has come into me as a part of my TR recovery, where it's getting so far into the recovery where it's like I'm becoming so incredibly normal that it's like, oh my gosh. And I have to fight the urge to claim victimhood over something like this. It's like, because I think a lot of times in the TR, we cannot just experience a feeling of dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction has to be horrific or tumultuous or terrible or the worst thing ever, or somebody's, really hurting us because we're dissatisfied. And it's like, sometimes you're just dissatisfied and that's all it is. Because, like, for example, my flopputation moment, it's pretty much over. I actually feel very supported right now. I actually am very supported right now. So it's kind of like the issue was addressed and it got better. So that's a pretty straight line, which is great. I love it. I truly do. But I think personally, in my personal life, so outside of career, outside of activism, my life is just kind of floppy, dissatisfying, kind of boring, and it's not, it's not butterflies in my stomach. It's not exciting. at all. And I think that it's really hard to sit with that sometimes, especially coming from bingo, because within that, it's like you feel a need to project victimhood into that, where it's like, well, I feel dissatisfied or I'm bored, so I'm a victim. And it's not true. I'm not. It's like sometimes life just isn't very dazzling. Sometimes things aren't that great. Sometimes you put out an album and it's not that good and people just like you, so they support you anyway. You know? That's kind of how I feel. I feel kind of like Hilary Duff, where it's like I'm not really doing anything super dazzling in life, like especially in my personal life, but I do feel very supported by everybody in my life, you know, because people just like me. And I don't know if that's a thin privilege thing, maybe. I don't know. Y'all can let me know. Like, I've certainly had thin hate, so maybe that's the thin privilege coming through. But I think that it's still, you know, I had this moment yesterday where I'm like, I'm not hated anymore. Or I'm not like at odds with people anymore. I was like, what? Oh my gosh. I'm like, are people actually supporting me? Like, it was just weird. I think because sometimes you get so caught in this, like, everyone hates me or blah, blah, blah. And especially with an activism, it can be hard. Like, that's more of an activistic struggle because you're just always like fighting, you know? And so you get used to it. And I've had a really rough year activistically on a personal level, like, or on a, I guess you could say, interpersonal level. Especially just coming out of like self-cancellation 2.0. It's like, ew, this is really awful, you know? But it's like when you realize that that's over and you're just staring at the ceiling like Hilary Duff on her album cover and you're like this, and you look like you're trying to hold back a shit because you have too much Botox in your face, so you can't actually make an expression. And the sweater is not a good look and it just looks bad. But then everybody says you look amazing and you're not even really trying. So I don't know, maybe that is thin privilege, you know? Maybe that's the type of thing that I used to hate when I was deep in the TR and I'd see other people do that. And it's like, you're not expected to be dazzling anymore. You're not expected to make up for something. You're not expected to, you don't have to like, you don't feel this feeling of like, I have to provide value to be accepted. I think that that's such a fat thing. And for that to just go away, it's like, whoa, what the fuck? Now I can just be mid AF, have too much work done on my face, stare up at the ceiling and not put any effort, not be good artistically at all, and everybody loves it. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm just saying, it's a weird feeling. It's giving thin privilege. It is. Like, I think that that is a little bit of that. And I don't usually talk about that because it's not real for the most part, but I think I might have found it. So there you have it. You can be a Hilary Duff, I guess, if you're thin. So there you have it. You know, it doesn't change the fact that you're personally dissatisfied or that you realize that you're kind of flopping. Like, on my personal life, I'm flopping right now. Like, it's just a flop. It's just like, I'm boring. I don't have anything going on. I don't feel like a loser. I just feel like very ordinary and mundane and boring and lame and old. No, I'm just kidding. I don't mean old like I look so old. Like, I'm not saying that in a TR way. I'm just saying old like stuffy. Like, I'm boring now, basically. Like, I feel very auntie and mature, and maybe it's luck or something. It's thin or something, you know, thin privilege or something. And I feel like that is the moment that I'm in right now, where it's like, oh, okay. And I don't have the struggle. It's like, I think a lot of times too, within the TR, we really romanticize the struggle. we romanticize the idea of like, everybody hates that I've lost weight, and everybody this and everybody that, and I have to prove everybody wrong, and I have to this and I have to that. And I think that I definitely had that. I definitely did. I had my fill of that. And I can think back and I can experience it again in my mind. But I think that there's a difference between going through that and then realizing that it ended. And I think a lot of people that have lost weight, where it can slip into MSP, is that they don't let that go. And MSP is midsize princess. If you guys are new to the channel, you have a lot to learn. But midsize princess is kind of like when you're no longer fat, but you hold on to fatness, but you can still have it. Like, it's more complicated than that, but that's how it manifests a lot in thin people. And so it's like, I'm not allowing that. I'm letting it shed off like a skin. It's like, okay, well, that phase is over. So it's like, now I'm boring. I'm single. I don't have anything going on in my personal life. I'm happy with my job though. Like, I'm happy with YouTube now. I'm very satisfied. I feel very supported. And I think the flopputation is over, which is honestly pretty fast. I thought it would take longer. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I guess it was a couple months, but I thought it would take longer. But it didn't. So, like I said, call it thin or something. God, I'm so ridiculous. But I think that what I'm understanding is like, it's really that twofold. Or maybe threefold. It's like, one, I'm no longer in the struggle. Two, I'm no longer expected to be excellent. I don't have to justify my presence as much as I did when I was fat. Three, it doesn't change how I feel about my own life. Because at the end of the day, like for me at least, I don't base how I feel on how other people feel about me. It just doesn't work for me. So it's like, I think that emotional dissatisfaction, it comes within a deficit, because there's going to be some level of it within vanity. And I think that we have to work with that. And I've been feeling kind of impatient in my life, and it's like I want adventure again really bad, and I want the beginning, not the end. I'm just kidding. No, it's that very millennial thing, which I think that's why, like, I'm trying to explore like millennialism and why it's so bad in our generation, but that's part of it. That's part of why the TR is so bad, because we always want highs and lows as millennials. We don't like things to just be mid or average or boring or like simple. It's like, I want to get on here and I want to be like, well, I'm getting thin privilege now, or I have thin privilege, so I just feel horrible about it. And it's like, there is like an incentive to have this like MSP moment over that. But in reality, is it really that deep? No, it's not. It's like, I think it's just, you're not totally like within a problem, you dealt with an issue. So it's like, you're not going to have the stigma of that issue because it's gone. And there's such a TR drive to try to feel like a victim in that. And it's like, no. So I'm not going to allow that. So I'm like, no, I'm not really a victim at all anymore. And I think a lot of my downsizing journey, it was framed through like rage or struggle or strife or these types of things. And it's like, I have to find that peaceful version of this, because that's where I'm at. This is not that hard. I'm going to be done with the cutting phase April 16th, and then I start reverse dieting till May 14th. So it's like, honey, this is not that hard. I'm only downsizing by 20 pounds this year, and then I'm done. I don't have to at all next year. Basically, I don't. So it's like we're at the end. Don't be like Hillary. Don't say, I only want the beginning of the weight loss journey and not the end. No, you want the end. But I think that she definitely exemplifies that flop-millennial take of like, I want the drama of it all, you know? And it's like, what do we do when the drama's done? What do we do when theater class is over? And I think we have to be productive, but also like, how do we accept emotional dissatisfaction within a deficit without drumming up drama? You see? And I think I'm doing it fine. I think it really goes back to getting a life. And I think that getting a life within an extroverted vanity era, it's not easy for me because I'm introverted. And my life is built around recovery. My life is built around downsizing, you know, and all these things, which it should have been. But that's kind of over. So I have to change my life in a lot of ways that are probably very dramatic and very big picture. And I do feel kind of overwhelmed and like I'm ready to stare at the ceiling with too much Botox in my face, you know? So it's like, I don't know what to do about that. Because that isn't necessarily easy for me. And that's a me issue because I'm just introverted. And so it's harder to get a life. I have been playing Sims and stuff, which is fun for me. And I've just been very social. I've been talking to a lot of people and stuff, which I really enjoy. And obviously getting more involved with collabs and stuff. And I really enjoy, you know, I've definitely been enjoying being supported and being supportive. You know, I think that that's really great. And I'm excited about the trio. We're going to do a trio collab. So I'm excited about that. I think it's fun. I think it brings back, you know, YouTube memories and stuff. And I'm so glad to be becoming a part of that kind of a community sense. I think it's fun. And so it's like things are cooking, things are moving, things are happening. I'm working at it and it's coming. It's just, it's not fast. Like I am so itching to go back to California. I want to go so bad. And it's like, I have to figure out when I'm going to go, how I'm going to go, etc. It's like, I think that once the ball gets rolling, it'll be fine. And this kind of like flop moment will end in my personal life. But it's like, we have to be okay with that dissatisfaction in the process. And I think that that's what is difficult about Vanity 2.0 is like, how are we okay with the moment being dull without making that a big drama and without letting it distract us from building a better future? And I think that that's really what I'm thinking about a lot. And then I'm just shedding those final layers of victimhood and also accepting the thin privilege that I have, which it's like, oh, it finally came through. Gosh, damn. It only took like, almost 4 years of downsizing. So I'm like, oh, okay, here it is. There you have it. So is that what you expected, you guys? You know, it wasn't what I expected. I thought it would be more than that, but no, that's what it is. It's really just, you don't have to justify. You don't have to be dazzling. You don't have to like impress all the time. You can just kind of just live and people get you. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like, or people are just supportive. I don't know. So I have to talk about the good too. I talk so much about the bad. I really do. But that's basically the good of it. And it's like, we have to talk about when we're supported too. Like we can't be like that has to be normalized. You know what I'm saying? So I guess what I'm trying to say in this is like, things have improved a lot socially. I think emotionally, it's still kind of, it's dissatisfaction, you know? what do we do with dissatisfaction? How do we not dramatize it? How do we not dive into it or make it a catastrophe? It's not a catastrophe. How do we delay gratification? Basically, it's like, how do we do that? That's all this is. And I think people say that a lot in Vanity Weight, but that's literally, when you actually think about what that means, it means all of this. And it doesn't just apply to weight. It also applies to like a social life or getting a life or adventure or embarking on a new journey and these kind of things. It's like it requires delayed gratification. It requires that level of self-control. And I think it's an important life skill that I'm learning right now. But we're never going to get there if we sabotage ourselves or if we over dramatize things, because it becomes a distraction. And the more distracted you are, the less focused you are towards your goals. And so it's like, I'm not going to allow that. But that's basically where I'm at. So I just wanted to give you guys an update because I'm like, I feel like I have to update you, but I don't even know how to talk about this. But then I heard roommates and I was like, oh, that's exactly what it is. I'm having a roommates moment. But anyways, you guys, I will talk to you later. I hope that this made sense. Let me know your thoughts. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.